The fan stands still.
Вроде может сменить гримасу.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Ну, у меня же, в принципе, сохранение есть уже.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place somewhere in the past. That's all you know for now.
Пока не видел.
The door is closed, still no answer.
Ты чё?
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk. Everything points to the dock workers union. The Beltius, which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them. I mean, ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being men who drink beer for breakfast. There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for... I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the managers. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RC. In fact, even the death of two detectives might not. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them.
Good. A power move. Yeah, streetwise. Zoom, but aren't you curious to know what they had?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place.
Can I help you?
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps...
And there's no public...
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the...
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is...
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like... you have more important things to worry about. Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps.
The water lock, that was broken. Could this be it?
Oh my. What happened? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night.
You're welcome.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast...
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery. Yes, some left-field scientific research is exactly...
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you. Oh, yes. A zoologist.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythology.
That's one opinion, yes.
She's used to playing off such insults casually.
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Oh dear, I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband, it's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with...
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most new by a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. We hit it off and, well...
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I should...
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but...
Ah, yes. Phasmatodia. A diverse group of insects whose bodies Oh, yeah.
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps...
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing...
It's not made up, officer. It's simply elusive, so much so that most is... Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about, of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description...
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes...
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insulindian phasmid. Also... Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so... Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes. It can blend in almost perfectly among the... Oh, dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could...
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be...
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
He nods and assumes a... Ooh, tough choice there.
The gnome of Jeroma. Oh, it is. None of its victims survived. Grief. It was reportedly a small creature. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. It still took the gnome of Jeroma, and it...
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks? Confirm.
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creatures... Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid.
Alas. Always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient? Sure, a perfectly good explanation. It dissolved in its own venom.
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
He nods approvingly. You see a heavy steel door. You immediately feel drawn. The man ponders his cooking utensils.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are?
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor, so let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing? What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. What are we going to do to you? The Union isn't going to do anything.
Goddamn right.
If anything, it is the aggressive. You make your living enforcing violence.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Let's.
This is where you say your bed.
Detective.
Hey, dipshit. You hard of hearing?
Do not let their squeals disturb your serenity. These are but simple peasants, sire.
Wow. The RCM sent us some big dick cops.
Real big dick cops. Look at them.
Yeah, look at the big dick on that cop.
Must be something in the water in Jamrock.
Yeah, gave him real nice.
Yeah.
You might want to start asking your questions.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man in his 30s, sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43. Gang tattoos. And then standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 46. The big dick. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below in the far corner. Standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 44. 40-something. Non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum? On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41. With the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face. Mean, watery eye. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy. Boot size 46. Deep marks. Probably carried the victim. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything.
The fuck is with you, fella? What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy this... Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy?
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do.
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she.
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. End. You're not cops here. Don't go digging around.
Good. We are all watching each other.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
So, you're not just here to swing your big dick. You're here for the pretty...
They love him, boss. Spend all day digging.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Container belt? Like we use it because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back. We did this together. All of us. Until he was dead. Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
How many people have you sent to the Shays?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had...
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
Titus, no one was thinking
That there's any question who's the leader. That's how he would have ended it. Titus won't let him.
No. Fuck no! The big dick is right here, asshole.
Disregard the outburst, officer. None of the boys have any comments on their power relations. That night, they acted as one. That's... You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
known him. We don't. Yeah.
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow...
By the Pines cow, you mean the representative for Wild Pines? The shipping company you are striking a...
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us up. Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experience.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They...
'Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm Oranese."
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some orange.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why the strange de-escalation? He regrets mentioning it. Hopes you didn't.
Kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing...
He grabbed someone?
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. Show me your cunt. Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing it with you clowns. We hanged him up by his neck.
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus,
We overpowered him. Dragged his unconscious.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
With numbers, asshole. How do you think?
No, he hasn't. Not yet. Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But Elaine, who looks like he might be Titus's right-hand man. This little rat-faced fellow is solid, too. Always fidgety. Yes, him neither. Mostly keeps to his tomato juice, or whatever he's got.
No. Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is...
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like...
And fuck you, too, copper. Picking on Angus like this.
His all-muscle comment wasn't sarcastic. This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, copper? Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him.
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant...
Look, coppers. I know you think you're doing your job here, but they're a...
That's an Easter 50. A Ziemsk made monstrous... Almighty God. Even Dick Mullen only has a 45. The last thing you hear is a little murmur. Not a blast, not an echo. No one screams. It's more dead cops. Sad news from the district of Martinez, as the bodies of 2 police officers are found floating.
Ладно, тогда позже к нему тело посмотрю.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. Everything points to which may, and men who drink beer are completely one loose thread less. That would in fact, if one more thing before.
Good. Yeah, but...
There ain't no hurry.
Just a moment.
She's...
And there's...
The closest...
It's fine, I understand. Please, the union office probably has a phone, but I can't... The man...
Why would he...
To let the young... I was all...
A little missing persons puzzle.
That's just... you have more important things to... Just some...
The water lock. That was broken.
Oh my. What? Well...
You're well.
I hate to...
This was... Yes.
And if you see him, let him... Oh, you're such a dear. Oh...
It's a pseudos.
That's...
She's...
My apologies.
It's not searching...
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles.
Oh dear.
You can't... It's always a challenge to describe.
Oh...
The lieutenant...
One other thing. Will be celebrated by we...
She's skipping over.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweet.
The lieutenant gives you...
Well...
Ah, yes. Oh, yeah.
Where other fads meet, hence it...
I knew.
It's not... It's simply... Well, some... Of course...
Enthusiasm.
I suppose I... Oh, I doubt it. Yes. Oh, dear. Morel can explain it all much...
There's...
Oh.
One cryptid. Not a couple. One.
He nod. Ooh. Tough choice there.
The gnome of... Oh... It was reported a couple... It still took...
If the body of the...
Alas. Instead...
Alas. Oh, sure. A perfectly...
Of course, dear.
Что это будет? Энциклопедия очень хорошая. Надо взять. Yes? Hello? Me? No one.
She doesn't really want to be... If she's such a working-class woman...
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working-class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are. What with? My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now?
Where is this going, officer?
She gives you a short nod and shifts her attention back to books.
No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not miss...
You know where they are. They're at home. Smoking. Give it...
I see. I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better.
I don't even have a cockatoo.
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're...
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Please, let's do.
Her hands move over the book covers. The woman before you. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man. It still kind of looks like a map of the gone. For you to discover, someone who knows about history could tell you. It's just a racist mug. The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spot. The note is written with a blue pencil. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. With the permeable arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. You don't exactly close. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. Not much is...
Bastards! We have a right to... Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops, you here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people. Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Rights of people. Rights of workers.
His manner of speaking is wooden. The tone of voice bland and uninspired. Almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned...
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to sigh. I don't trust cops. But I can see you understand the... Right to... Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, we have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scab.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. Why you want to meet that fat? I know nothing about a murder.
The mention of a killing sends a barely noticeable shiver of tenseness through...
What are you talking about? I'm not...
Yes, he's tense.
Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a crime.
Why not? I see numerous reasons, not pity.
Let us work! When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get the beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms.
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls held up by a belt. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated wood. Silence is the answer. There's something off here. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? We're done here. I have a strike to break. Right to work! Right to... Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time?
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
We were promised work. We'd be in there, working. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The act bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous... I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are like civilized folk, you mean?
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now.
No! They will give up. Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not to... We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your...
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the mark.
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess, scared maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. These scabs ain't begging. They ain't holding on to their integrity. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here, to the Wild North? Come to see the strife? Oh, good, good. What matters do you want to discuss with Everard? Everard's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, eh? Doesn't often I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage.
If it's so simple, why did the scab leader warn you of the guards blocking the way?
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go... Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right, then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is. Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong. Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic. Sure. You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss would be glad to tell you.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the...
Body betrays your...
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick. No, you don't. You need to get another drink.
Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Begging for help, attempting to pass fear for cooperation. How far the Occidental? You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war. Like you dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato. You will be superseded.
It is, baby, yeah.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. You should leave. Bring your troops to the Simenine Islands and to Boogie Street. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul. Your beloved, Governor.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Meshached's race theory. He would take you as one of his own. Well, not as such. What you do with a mastery of advanced race theory is up to you. You could reject the findings, sure, or accept them and become an advanced racist.
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last.
You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him.
The hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman. Fine. Find out for yourself.
Interesting.
Racists are generally not very good examples of their race. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid. Your silence betrays your inferiority. You do not have a reply. You should enter a deep race slumber.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic.
He had nothing to do with it.
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture, have you not? Offshoots of the Seminese people invented disco while having... I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminese race. The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the right, we are the future. I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulembuir are with me in my genetic dreams. No, I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne, and no, it is not just in Revachol. You have heard enough about...
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. A protruding occiput and an...
The lieutenant doesn't...
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
The lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door.
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculture. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile. Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite. A receding genetic pool has led them out on reprehensible street parades. In mound cities like you know them by the names of their nation states.
Mahoon? is a derogative term for first world people of Gotvoldian descent. They do not, in some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much oxygen.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Semenese and the Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Semenese are powerful. Mesomorph, the latter, is perfected.
Nature was not capable of more.
Type B.
The Khoikos of Grad, Hugo, Zimsk, Chest et al. Are what you would call white, officer.
Yes. To an untrained eye, the pinkness is a rush. The Khoiko, the countless microna.
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semen, its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Semen. The Vacholians, halfway between type A and the racial cauldron. Two mixed.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over. Like a fever dream of the revolution came to ravage. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion. Enough of tips. The F are a museum of failed chimeric experiments. And tragic, it would be cruel to entertain ourselves with their deformities. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, we will.
Access to the Union is important for our investigation, but there may be...
Am I mildly worried he might take it seriously? The lieutenant thinks. Yes, I am, he concludes. I am worried.
Lost, though. I cannot possibly imagine what else.
We still need to get into the harbor. There's an interview to conduct. There must be another way.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in its time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time. The increment. History's greatest catastrophe. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is tisk-tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your what rationality, what sang-froid, what benevolence. Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed? There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress. What you want is immaterial. The king... As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you... From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights and they solve shit. Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop. Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye. Badass on the edge disco cop. Time to recede into a ludicrous fantasy world. With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it, in an iconic monochrome solution.
Логика, слова. Что мне делать? Захотел, чтобы я соглашался.
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you? Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you figure some wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery, or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
Because we don't. We don't have ours.
I get it. Hush hush about that. All right, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RCM. It's low in techno. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though. Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess. I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scab.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. The rotting man lies on his side. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single.
Unfortunately, no. Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labor. I perform the anatomical side, while you take notes. That's right.
О, у меня ачивка заслужить высочайший регим. Все.
Shoot, loony run. Come back. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
That's you.
Кстати, меня же тогда говорил, когда я сам собой развернулась, я просто сказал Гарри.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just
KK57.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Next, NA. Next, NA. Roughly 50.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10.
KK57 0503 0815.
None. At least not after the initial examination. Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for him.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosenkrantz Row. Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach elsewhere yet. An obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot, well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters, generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand, like thread off a rag doll's head.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
fucking low velocity. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark.
See, my pig is.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then...
Yeah, fuck him! Fuck!
Told you my pig was hard.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing...
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced. Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates...
We have a real... Last item. Hands. Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth.
Yeah, jack that fucker!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Hepatobiliary, NA. Ah, are you a hepatobiliary expert? Neither am I. That's it. Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too. Oh, so we inflicted them? Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
See? These pigs are fucked.
Why don't you fuck 'em if you love 'em so much?
Now, injuries. Nothing. Just in case. Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not... And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator
At maximum velocity.
has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Right. Next. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Well, we established probable cause of death. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg. For processing.
He's thinking, You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. The man is The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? Dunno. Kiptas gardener used to work.
Kipt is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie-Opagite descent. It used to be a common first name among the...
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. She couldn't handle the heat, so she took off. Kuno can take it. Shit's nothing to... Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit. Kuno just says shit.
Yeah, her. What was she doing in the greenhouse in March anyway? What kind of garden? Yes, it seems suspicious. You don't like things being like that. Suspicious.
Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small-time shit. Just listen. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real. Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around, except for that.
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't say, I told you so.
Whatever. Kuno was trying to help you, but you're too fat for fouling anyway, pig. That's just some shit roofing gimps left.
He's hiding something.
Pig, if Kuno was hiding something, it would be hidden.
But it is not hidden, is it, sire? You picked up on it. You should examine the pile of roofing material again.
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain.
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder, Kuno.
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beatdown. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching. Get away from my Kuno.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed. fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking acrobat.
The lieutenant takes a...
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
Yeah, whatever. Kuno does the fuck about it. Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor. Kuno's fuck gimp's got one. Look at him. Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. The armor's too big for any man. Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak armor. Kuno threw that shit away. Kuno tried to get the helmet on. It was Kuno kicked that shit in the sea, rugby style. That shit means nothing to Kuno. You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit. Yeah, cocking boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about cows or...
Yes, you met him at the gates. The one with the boot.
Yeah, he's the one you want to talk to. He's fucking crazy about that armor shit. Coming here pretending like he likes...
Curious, my liege. Why did Kuno feed you this information? Yes, pray pardon, sire. Better to let it be. I did not mean to make you paranoid.
Fuck are you talking about? What is this?
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They want to make you stupid again.
Oh, did Kuno make your shit sniffing harder? Obstruction of...
You hear the lieutenant hum.
Your test...
Get lost,
Kuno doesn't...
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
What is this then? A tool shed?
Be still, my beating heart. The lieutenant isn't studying the... There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use. Professionally, I mean.
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. See that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor.
Fuck does Kuno care? You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. How the fuck did you get in? Shit. Get the fuck out of...
He can't do that, Kuno. He tried...
Pigs can't displace. Can't do that. How did you like it in there, pig old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit there, right? That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old.
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. Yeah, Kuno plays on Snuff Radio, fucks pigs, live. Fuck, it's a vitamin pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno! He's gonna use it against you, Kuno!
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover.
Fuck you, pig! Don't do mag! You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die!
Of course you fucking can. How do you think Kuno made all the docky boys his gimps? Just gotta fly, pig. Not for you, pig. Kuno can't.
Kuno can't wait to...
That's all there is to it then. Don't be a pansy.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about... Kuno doesn't...
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous... The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer-like interest and the wonder of a 6-year-old seeing a horse for the first time. His eyes trace the crane's contour, as if trying to memorize its majestic shape.
Yes. We were in the middle of something. Your cloak. I was under the impression we are on our way to meet the king of this castle under siege. Or it could be that we are just exploring.
He's thinking you've forgotten where you are again.
The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for... Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meter stops.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets may hide? The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Nope, no. That's still too high. What were you thinking? You're not a gymnast. You're a boxer.
Sure. Just be careful, okay? Looks like you almost strained a muscle there.
A tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. The tarpaulin cloak. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Yes. The armor was produced by... It was part of a special order for Corps de Pharmacie, a security firm. So, it seems the armor went to Seminine. That's where the paper trail ends, though. Even the most recently registered firm that the ICP has been able to connect to the CDP is a military contractor called Trinell. And the one before it was Downwell.
A suit of armor like this would have been manufactured with a particular person's physique in mind. You should ask for whom this suit was fitted.
Yes, but the ICP tends to be reluctant to say...
This is a fun challenge for her, an opportunity to contribute beyond doing her job by rote. She'll gladly put in the extra effort for Team RCM.
Glad to help. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have more for you then. Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Over. Roger that. 10...
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up?
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her... door is still, the lieutenant, he doesn't like where this is going. This door can only be opened with a...
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs. Can't you tell? I'm painting a... I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, we rarely see pigs round here though. Just union cards.
She wants it to be something true and total.
Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration...
She means the opposite. You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
I ain't no snitch, Pigstein.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal...
We weren't put on this earth to make your life...
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more. The woman on the boat does not notice her.
That Ozon whore. Someone's got to keep an eye on...
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershark.
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be... You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our...
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Watch your back.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the door rattles against your knuckles. But the door rattles again. But this time...
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers. Doesn't matter who I am.
From within comes the faint sound of a...
Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No. I already told you. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Backyard door? There must be another entrance to the east. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19 because it's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days, my sloop, I like it a lot. It's the
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we investigate.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. We are, and the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Cana.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the...
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. You're not? Okay then. Just keep on admiring the boat then.
Officer, I assure you I'm a...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain. Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act. A law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox. You're not aggressive enough to harass her.
Good. What we do? I'm afraid I don't...
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, Son Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions. Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran, and centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs. The world...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interest.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM...
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice...
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist... Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first...
And when did you first?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare...
This isn't the first time the union...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more...
Ludicrous, even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. Every worker, a member...
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72... They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just this... And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was...
This checks out.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a...
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous...
If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemable... Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Evrart does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their work. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a
mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect will be...
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous...
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but the point of the presentation is... These kinds of things...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his...
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of... I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by... faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that back.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. I mean, favors for favor. Consider this. Perhaps she has been planning it all along. That you convince yourself into colluding with her. Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something...
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts,
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor. It's an open secret in Martinez. Sure, you can find your...
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Wow, you work hard. Oh, yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough. Oh, yeah, like a horse. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. A little. You make money. You got... It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol? You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. 98% of all your money. What are you, a racist? Don't be a racist. Be a cool immigrant, ultra-liberal free market advocate. Ride or die. Keep it street.
Not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union. Or that what I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. I'm sure you will, Detective.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality?
Yes, real and experimental side case.
Ah, yes. The
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfect.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before. This place used to be a province. A workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revesh. Yes. We're on an island in...
Known to the early Revacholians as Elysium, vast, lukewarm, and unknowable.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen.
It is clear this pebble, and to humanity at large.
Revachol? The Great...
As if it's self-explanatory. Beyond...
History detective. They built this city to resolve the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers, in the DeLorean century. They say it's where the terrible question, by that I mean, conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island, able to sustain up to 200 million people, in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean. The world's connected. I think it's fair to say so.
A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is...
Silence. The water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence. This is one thought you need.
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Thank you, man. I'm sure my memory... Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Monsieur...
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into...
Ingredients for...
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quick. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, man. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does... Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into... Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. And...
Her irises are light green, like the River Esperance.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver...
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand.
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently there's...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCA...
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our... This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour onto this...
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in. On my motor...
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi. But we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock work.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were screened.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local... Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely. Then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
She simply nods.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the backstay on this.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
Of course, Detective.